This is Valley News Live at noon.
We begin with breaking news. Fire crews are currently battling a barn fire in Otter Tail County. It's happening north of Hemming, and crews have been battling the blaze for a few hours so far. Our reporter on the scene says there are still flames in some areas of the barn as well as on the hay, but she has not seen any livestock on the property. Stick with Valley News Live as we learn more about this breaking story. Last night's storm caused a lot of damage around the region. This is a video from Battle Lake, Minnesota. The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office says this morning they've been responding to a number of calls regarding property damage around the county, including injuries sustained from a flipped mobile home and trees down on power lines and the roads. Meanwhile, trees are down in many spots around Wilkin County, Minnesota. People are posting pictures to the County Emergency Management Facebook page, and it looks like a lot of people have the same kind of trouble. We're also hearing that many power lines are down in Wadena, and the Wadena Deer Creek School is closed because of the power outage. Crews are out making repairs, and people are warned to watch out for downed power lines. It may look quieter outside today, but we're not out of the woods yet because it's still a pretty windy day. The North Dakota Highway Patrol is urging you to drive carefully on the roads, saying that high winds can affect travel. Let's go to meteorologist Lisa Green with a follow-up of last night's storm. Lisa?
Well, good afternoon. Yes, the storms from last night and the wind from today, all part of the same system that is still hitting us hard. And we do have a high wind warning that is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Both that and the advisory on the eastern part of it. We could see winds up to 65 miles per hour. And we did get a gust last hour to 62 miles per hour in Jamestown. So intense wind within this high wind area possible. And then the wind advisory in the counties in that area could see winds as much as 50 miles per hour. So windy everywhere, more intense into that high wind warning in parts of eastern North Dakota. All associated with this low. You can see it swirling here as it's making its way to the north and east. The rain associated with it trying to push its way into parts of the Devil's Lake Basin this afternoon. And we could see some areas of rain showers in the northern valley and northwest especially as this continues to influence our weather. And as this is moving farther to the east and closer to us, we're looking at those winds increasing too. So a couple of concerns here with the high wind and some that are a little more unique right now because of our waterlogged experiences that we're having right now. And one of those could be that we may see some more uprooted trees out there because the ground is so wet. In some of our pictures we've gotten, you can actually see standing water where the tree was uprooted. That allows those roots to become dislodged a lot easier when you have a gust above 60 miles per hour. That could happen. We could see more branches coming down as well. Also in floodwater areas, or perhaps you've got high lakes or a high river area, we could have some wave action on those. And so that can cause some issues on the shore. It can lead to maybe a little bit of erosion or more erosion than we would have expected. And then, of course, the travel threat we just told you about to tall vehicles. Maybe you're towing a camper heading out for the fishing opener for this weekend in Minnesota. Be careful with that. And obviously, lawn furniture is always a problem. Those trampolines, anytime we get those high winds. I'm going to show you here. These are floodwaters. This is normally a field, again, along Highway 66 in Drayton. You can see there are actually kind of waves developing there because of the strong winds. So a look at Grand Forks right now. We're going to expect to see temperatures rising into the 60s for today. And that's about it. It really is the wind that's the biggest factor. So more details on this and a look at your fishing opener forecast coming up.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. We have breaking news. We're now learning the name of the man who was killed in a crash in Mahnomen County yesterday. Authorities have identified him as 68-year-old David Charles Sokolik. The crash happened yesterday east of Waban. Investigators say he left the highway, struck a guardrail, and entered a small pond. He was not wearing a seatbelt. We have new information on a Fargo man who was last seen in Arkansas back in March. Authorities have now confirmed that Jordan Simeon's body was found. He was found on April 27th, but his identity was confirmed yesterday. We spoke to Simeon's sister a couple months ago who said he was heading to New Orleans to start a new life. She last heard that he was waiting for a tow truck after his car broke down. She also said that he suffered from Huntington disease, which made him a vulnerable adult. The cause of death has not yet been released. We also have new information on the evacuation orders issued near the Clawson Springs Dam in Barnes County. Officials are now saying people are allowed back into their homes and the area is safe. Overnight, authorities were worried about the high water levels at the dam and warned people it could get a lot worse. Water levels have since gone down and now has traditional spring runoff, according to the local fire department. Severe storms that tore through Minnesota have turned deadly. The emergency manager in Kandiyohi County is confirming one person was killed yesterday when a grain bin fell on a car in Blomkus, which is about 20 miles south of Willmar. This video is from Willmar, where high winds and heavy rains toppled a lot of trees. South Dakota officials are confirming a fatality in Sioux Falls. There's also significant property damage in Castlewood, which is just south of Watertown. Homes are in tough shape and a school lost part of its roof and siding. About a dozen injuries are reported. Some patients had to be airlifted to a Sioux Falls Trauma Center. In Brookings, South Dakota State University is closed today because of a power outage and recovery efforts. Eastbound I-94 near Alexandria is back open this afternoon after a series of semi-crashes during yesterday's storms. Straight line winds blew over a couple of big rigs, which then partially blocked the highway. There were two of several high-profile vehicles that were tipped across the region. The Minnesota State Patrol says one of the drivers involved in the Alexandria crashes was hurt, but not seriously. Coming up at noon, certain vehicles may not need anyone behind the wheel. We'll show you how it works. But first, we'll take a look at what kind of weather we could expect for the weekend.